Okay, we are in Shmuel Beit. Please, us. Yeah, thank you. The book of Samuel, the first book of Samuel, Shmuel Aleph, and please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and hit the notification so you can always know when a new class is being given, and enjoy. Okay, so now here we go. Everything. So it says we're on 19:22, chapter 19, verse 22. The people have Shaul's trying to send people to get David, and so each time he sends people to get him, they end up prophesying and not bringing David back. That's the point. So vayelech gam hu haramata. So now you also have Shaul who decides he's going to go to, and he goes to Ramah. V'yavo ad bor hagadol. He comes to until the great cistern or pit, asher besechu, that is in Sechu. Vayishal, and he asked, Vayomer, and he said, Eifo Shmuel v'David, where is Shmuel and David? Vayomer, and he said, Hine benayot barama. In benayot is, I assume it's a name place.
It says Nayo.
Nayot and Ramah. I guess.
Got the extra vowel in it? No, it looks like there's.
I'm saying it's a name place. Yes, has a Nayot there.
Oh yeah.
No, fine.
Got the, yeah.
Good.
But I see the note down here in Hebrew, the way it's spelled. It reverse. It said to read it to reverse the yud and the vav.
Right.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is, so Malbim explains, in Chaf Gimel. No, it's Chaf Beit. Sorry. Chaf Beit is so v'yelech gam hu haramata techila lo hayta b'dato lechet l'nayot. Originally, the Malbim explains, Shaul did not plan on going to Nayot. Ki chasha, because he thought sheshmuel yishuv betoch kach haramata el beito, that Shmuel in the meantime returned to his home in Ramah. V'gam in kavol lefanav levakesh David makom haroeh, and it's also not befitting for the king to look for David in the place of the seer. V'rasul lechet l'Ramah, so that's why he wanted to go to Ramah. V'chashvo she'anavi yavol likarto, where he was thinking maybe the Navi, the prophet Shmuel, would come to meet him. Ulam kevo ad, but when he came to the big cistern, Shahaya be'im haderech ben Ramah ben Nayot, which was apparently between Ramah and this place Nayot, Chazar midato, he changed his mind. V'sha'al, and he asked, Eifo Shmuel v'David, where is Shmuel and David? In Ramah or Benayot? Are they in Ramah or are they in Nayot? So first he said, it's not befitting for me to search after David in the home and the place of the seer. So I'll go to, this is how the Malbim is looking at it, I'll go toward Ramah. The seer Shmuel will come out to meet me, and that will stop all the embarrassment, as it were. Then it won't be a lack of kavod. Okay, won't be a lack of honor. So what happens? But in the end, he ends up asking, and they said he is in Nayot in Ramah. Fine. And he went there, El Nayot, to Nayot, Baramah in Ramah. Vati alav gam hu ruach Elohim, and once again the ruach Elohim went upon him. So he now goes and he prophesies ad bo'u b'nayot b'Ramah until in his coming to, or he came to Nayot in Ramah. So he gets to have the spirit of Hashem once again. So, and Malbim says v'yelech sham rotzeh sham gamar b'dato. That's where his he concludes Shalol Alech Ramah, that he should not go to Ramah rak l'Nayot, only rather he should go to Nayot. Vati alav mi'al shekevan darcho el makom, and since he had his his mind to go on the derech of, on the way to the place of Shmuel. Kavar chalalav hashefa mirachok. So the divine spirit of Hashem, it started to influence, settled on him from afar, v'yamar adam, and that's why the reason says also he. Also from the side of he himself, ayamuchan el hashafa, he was prepared for this hashafa, for this divine influence. Because don't forget, he also at one point in his career was had the spirit of prophecy. At the very beginning, right? At the very beginning, he had the spirit, so he was already prepared for it. That's why, since he was prepared, so the influence could come from afar, which was not the case of the servants of Shaul, who never prophesied until they came before Shmuel. So here's something interesting. If I'm going to put it into today's radio wave analysis, if you will, okay, once my radio, once I know the range of the station, I can listen to the radio until that range. Yes. In other words, there's certain stations.
Depending on interference.
Yeah.
There were certain stations when
Nighttime.
I was traveling from Boston to Bangor. Okay, there was a station on the AM radio that was talk radio, and that their whole thing was they have 90,000 watts of power or something like that.
Clear channel, right?
Whatever it was. And I remember the 90,000 watts of power. That station could literally beat all the other stations because it's such a strong transmitter.
It could get you from several states.
Right, and so you could hear it wherever you were, and it didn't lose a channel. Other stations, WRKO, again, Boston stations, or whatever the other ones, I remember RKO, they wouldn't get you past Boston. No, WRKO was also it was one of the Boston channels. They had MEX, they had a whole bunch of, I grew up there, so I remember some of them. And but some of them were not very powerful at all, and so the minute you left the area, you would lose it, and then you have the static, and you have to change the channel. But others are not. So this is like him. He was already prepared for it. In other words, he knew where the channel was. So once you know where you get to that, once the vicinity is there, you start picking it up again. And that was Shaul. Unlike his other people who went there before, since they never knew how to tune in to the God channel. So it took them till they got to very close proximity to where the influence was so palatable that they would get it too.
For this prophesying business.
Right. In other words, when I want to prophesize, if I want that prophecy, what I have to do is prepare myself. I have to know how to prepare myself. Again, it's not so easy. I can't just say, I am prepared to have prophecy, and voila, it doesn't happen. So I have to go through the meditation. I have to do whatever these methodologies were, and I have to do that. So normally it takes a teacher. And then what happens is, once I do that, once I have that, and I actually accomplish it, now I know the methodology, and I know it works. And assuming that it's consistent, it's going to work every time. It's like science. Once I knew it, once I tune in, I can tune in. It's not like magic where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's always going to be consistent. So again, when it's really palatable, and it basically becomes idiot-proof. That's why anybody can join in at that point. But they didn't. There was no preparation on their parts, so they can't repeat the situation. Shaul, though, was taught how to do it. So that's why when he gets into the range, once he sets his mind on it, so now he's also influenced. By the way, if you think about this, is the ultimate torture from him. For Shaul. Yeah, for Saul. Why? Because this is what Saul wants. I want to feel the Spirit of God again. He finally got the high. The dopamine is there.
Oh, I knew this several weeks ago. He could have he could have gotten rid of his melancholy, remember that word? If only he had done the right thing, and upon realizing that David would succeed him,
Right.
teach him the craft of statesmanship, teach him how, what do you call it, groom him for that job.
Okay, but that's
And he
something
would have
else.
absolved
No.
himself.
That would have because again, he wasn't shooting for that. He was shooting for the high of God's divine spirit. Teaching somebody statesmanship and everything else. That's not going to bring you to the promised land. What's going
It's going to absolve you of all the garbage, though.
No, but it doesn't mean again. He's looking for one thing in particular. He's looking for that Ruach Hashem, and he doesn't have that. That's what he wants to get. So here, and the truth is, if he would realize what he did, then he could have stayed in this situation. But when he makes his mind set to, I'm going to go to Shmuel, I'm going to belittle myself. I'm not going to worry about my honor. I'm going to honor God's prophet. So I'm going to go towards him.
I don't know if I agree with your use of the word belittle. I would say in a spirit of contrition. That's not belittling.
Humility.
Yeah.
In his mind, it's belittling.
All right.
In his mind, it is belittling, by the way. We said that. That's what they're arguing. It would have been going against his kavod. It would have been belittling the kavod. And let's understand something too. As the king, the office of king, you are belittling the honor of the office if you do things that are not in line with it. So if he's going out, that's why Pharaoh, to go back to the story of the Exodus, when Moshe is talking to Pharaoh, he says, your servants will come out to call at the 10th plague, okay? The final plague. So he says, your servants will come out to call me and to say, go out. Well, he didn't mean in reality, the servants couldn't have told Moshe and the people to leave. The only one who had the power to do that was Pharaoh. But for Moshe to say, you will come out, would have been a denigration to the power of the king. And Hashem said, you can't do that. You have to give him honor. He will come out. He will come out. He'll have to belittle himself. But I don't want you to belittle him. So there is always that concept of kavod. When the president walks into the room, you're not allowed to sit down. There was one great scene in West Wing. Remember the West Wing?
I never watched.
West Wing was, their ad was, the way you wish it was. That was, I forget who the president was at that point, but it was probably a Republican, so they were, because the writers were Democratic. So I'm guessing he was a Republican president at that point.
In the 80s, maybe?
I'm guessing. Probably was Bush or something. It was.
Bush?
You're right. It was. The point was
How many years did it run?
It only ran 4 years, I think.
All right.
It was. That was the one with I forget his name. Well, it doesn't matter.
Two O's.
Who?
He's probably during Bush.
I'm guessing because, like I said, the ad was the way you wish the government ran. Sheen, Charlie Sheen, yeah, whatever his name was. Okay, so the point is, you had one scene in which the president walks in. He's a Democrat. The president walks in, and the Republican who didn't like him because he wasn't a Bible thumper. The president wasn't a Bible, even though the president knew Bible and everything else, he wasn't a Bible thumper. And so the person didn't like him. And he walks in, and that person didn't stand up. So he looked at her, and he said, when the president walks in the room, you stand up. And of course she does at that point. And then he gives her Musar like you never believed. Okay, and he's quoting Bible back left and right. Okay, but he gives her the Musar because it's not. You're not standing up for me, Charlie Sheen. You're standing up for the president. Yeah. So that same thing here. For the king to belittle himself, to go looking for the convict, David, or the prophet Shmuel, it's not befitting.
Tell me something. I don't know if this. When Pope John Paul II was shot, he famously met with the person who shot him.
Okay.
after the fact, obviously. Can you talk about that? Was that a belittling of the office of Pope?
Or you went to go visit him or something, right?
Yeah, in his jail cell, there was a very famous picture.
Was that belittling of his office?
Yes.
You could certainly
The
argue.
people he represents.
Again, you could certainly argue that. You could argue that, but again, in his role, it was probably what people would have wanted because he was trying to be a role model at that point.
You can't for that reason, you can't compare our kings, half of whose job was religious and only half was political or state,
Right.
to a political king, where it's.
No, but we have to. We have to compare them because when we're picking a king, we say we want to pick a king like all other kings, like every other nation has a king. So we are automatically equating that. And so once we do equate that, then the king has a role. And in that role, the king has to act appropriately. When David later on will become king, and he will dance before the Torah, his wife, Michal, will say, you were dancing with the handmaidens, were you a lowlife? That's not befitting the king. And again, there is that grandeur to the role that you have. You have to act appropriately. Why is it that when a priest does something wrong, or a rabbi, or an imam does something wrong, the news media will, or an Orthodox Jew with all the garb of an Orthodox Jew, black hat, blah, blah, blah. Why is it that the news media comes down so strong on them? Because we're the kings.
Representing something.
We represent God.
That's all the hypocrisy of it.
No, but again, we represent God. We represent God. So when we represent God, you are the king. All the people that are arrested in the world, we don't put them on a pedestal. We say, you're low lives, leave me alone, you did something wrong, you killed 30 people, okay, you're in jail for life. You put something in the WhatsApp. There was a guy who desecrated stones from the synagogue or something. You put it in the WhatsApp. It was somebody who threw stones over at the gravestone.
Who was talking about it? Shmuel, was it?
Oh, yes, whatever it was. But somebody was convicted. What did they get? They got probation and they have to pay. And everybody's saying that's ridiculous.
Was throwing stones? Was it Mayor Shareem? Something like that?
No. The guy who flipped the cemetery stones off.
Oh, that.
The guy who flipped the stones off.
Yeah.
So what? They caught him and they gave him probation and they made him pay.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying, well, what kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah.
The guy should be in jail, this and that, whatever the case is going to be. I'm not sure if I agree or disagree, but the point is, nobody knows who he is.
Oh.
Nobody cares who he is.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying, oh, you have to contrition. It was a mamish embarrassment to him. We can't say it. Nobody's saying that. The guy's a lowlife. We don't even care what his name is. We don't want to see his face. We want to see his name. We don't care if he goes to jail or if he pays the money. Do what you need to do. Leave me alone. We don't care. If it would be somebody big, President Bush, President Trump says something, so then everybody jumps down his throat.
Anthony Weiner with it.
Anthony Weiner.
Yeah.
You have anybody that's big, you're looking and saying, what's with you idiots? You're in the public eye. You can't do these sort of things. And by the way, that's what we pick on all our sports stars. When a sports star does something stupid, well, the whole world comes down to that person.
Do you remember Charles Barkley? He still is an announcer. He used to be a player.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
He played with, at the time, maybe Philadelphia. I don't know. It doesn't
Right.
matter if he played with one team.
He played with Chicago? Or
he said at the time, something happened. He was always controversial when he played. And he said at the time something happened. He said, I am not a role model.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you are really.
Oh.
Right, so you have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Correct.
You are really.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you can say I'm not all day long, but it doesn't mean you're not. You really are. And people are looking at you, and you have to deal with that, which is that's what Shmuel said to Shaul. In your eyes, you may think you're small, but you're the king. You're the king. You can't be, your eyes don't matter anymore. Your self-perception is irrelevant. We tell it to all of our kings. And again, that's why when our presidents, when our senators, when any of these people do something stupid, we say, you represent us, you idiot. It's not you anymore. You opened your mouth and you said something. You took a photo of yourself. You embarrassed us. Why would you do that? Well, it was just me. I was doing it to my girlfriend. No, idiot. You embarrassed us. That's why when Ocasio-Cortez said about Amazon, it's a crime that they were going to give him a blank $1 billion tax. You know what we could do with that tax break? We could pay bills. And people look at it and say, are you an idiot or just dumb? I don't know how that works. Tax break doesn't mean that there's money in the we're going to give them money off. That's all. But she said that, and even the people who tried to defend everything she said, you got me on this one. Can't do anything with this. Again, you're a senator. Senator? She's a congresswoman. She's a congresswoman who supposedly has a degree in economics. And you're saying that? Really? That's who we elected? That's scary. Okay, and the only reason we care about what she said was because she's a congresswoman. If she would just be somebody on BU, where she graduated from, on videos like this, we wouldn't care. When I say something, they don't care.
A year ago, she was a bartender.
Okay, look,
she would have been good then.
I don't pick on what she was doing before. That's irrelevant. But as a bartender, right? She wouldn't have cared.
You can make those kind of comments,
right? But that's the point. When you get to a certain stage, as Charles Barkley said, he wants to argue. Charles, you said Charles Barkley.
A role model, yeah.
No, I'm saying Charles. You said, yeah. He wants to argue. No, you are. Of course you are, and that's the role you picked. Because you decided to be in that role. You decided, we made you that role. It doesn't matter. You have that role. And so that's why it's belittling to the office. It's belittling to the position when you do certain things. And as a result of that, you have to be careful. But like I said, with his belittling, that was really what made him rise. In this situation, that's what made him rise to the stature that he wanted, namely to have Ruach Hashem again. Because now that he's belittled him in his mind he belittled himself, but he had intent to go to Shmuel. That was his intent. Once I have my mind to that, because I'm going to the prophet, now that Spirit of Hashem can take over, can inhibit me, and now I'm what I wanted originally. Now, why he couldn't figure out to stay at that level, that's an interesting question. But that's where he is at this point. Okay, so we're on 24 now. Vayivshat gamhu begadav. So he also stripped. He stripped also his clothes. Vayitnabe gamhu lifnei Shmuel, and he prophesied also. I'm translating literally. Before Shmuel, Vayipol Arom, and he fell naked. Kol hayom all that day, v'chol halayla, all that night. Al kain yomru, and so they also said. Therefore, they said, Gam Shaul ben Neviim is also Shaul amongst the Neviim. Is he also a part of that? So here we go, and it says what Rashi says. Vayishal Gam hu begadav, his clothes. He stripped off his clothes. Which clothes? Big day Malchut. He took off the clothes of the king.
The royal raiment here.
The Bosh Big Day Hal Talmidim, to dress like the students of the Talmidim, of the students. Vayipol Rome, he fell again naked, as it were. So they want to translate it as in a language of Meshuggah, of not there. Okay. But again, the Mesilas David simply is saying, once again, he's saying, what does it mean that he fell to the ground? That he, and Arom, it means again he was naked of the clothes of the king. And that's why they said, Pa'am Rishon Shani Be'edam Malko. And the first time that he prophesied in the time of his kingship, Lo Nitzchazeka Dayan, Hamashal Befi Habriyo, that statement of he amongst the Nevi'im, that didn't take hold amongst people. Lomar Agam Shol B'Neviim, because shouldn't be ashamed. But once he prophesies the second time, Az Hilchazek Mashal Lomar, I'll call Haba Lamala Shalo Horgoba Hagam Shol B'Neviim, that he certainly must be amongst the Neviim. Okay, fine. So that's the simple explanation. Rashi Malbim says, Vayipshat, he stripped Ve'ed Ba Lefnei HaShaul, in the time that he came before Shaul Shmuel. Gavar Alav Hashef Me'od. So again, the spirit inhabited him greatly. Ashapashat Big Day Malchut, until he took off the clothes of the kingdom of the king. Ki Kashel Koach, Ki Kashal Koach Haguf, because the power of his body weakened. Mesatam, from wearing them, Elavsha Nafshal Malchut Elokim. And so now he's dressing, his soul is going to be dressed with the kingdom of God, as it were. Shmuel, he also prophesied before Shmuel. In a greater manner that he was prophesying even on the way. And then it says he fell naked all day and all night. Because the spirit of Hashem did not leave him at all. Which was not the case of his servants. Like his servants that only prophesies at moments, like lightning that comes out and is covered again. And that's why they say, that's why people say that he, that even though he doesn't set himself up to have prophecy, he still will be still has prophecy, and that's why they say, is Shaul amongst the Nevi'im? It's interesting that I repeat the word. Okay. Rak Shakatana, Rak Shmuel, Shmuel, Loya Mashal. Okay. So, no, I'm saying the word also. It's interesting that the Hebrews is right now. It's not in your text. It's on your text.
But that sentence you just read, is there a question mark at the end or an exclamation?
There should be.
Well, there should be one here too, but there isn't. That's my point.
Oh.
Is he among the prophets? It's a question.
Right.
The ha would make it a question.
It's interrogative, hey. What does it have it there?
It's just an exclamation point.
Okay,
no
that's
question.
interesting.
There is a question mark?
There should be a question mark. Is he? Because the first time that this happened was many years ago, a year and a half ago, or something like that. Maybe within a year, when he first has the prophecy. And so they say, is Shaul amongst the Nevi'im? Notice says he have a lineage amongst the Nevi'im. And so it's the same words. So why ArtScroll decide, well, ArtScroll is going with everybody else. I mean, that's why they decide to do it. In other words, it becomes established that he is, but the Hebrew is saying it in the old way. Is he? Which means yes, he is.
Oh, it's almost like a tu brute.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, so, and since, again, the difference between Shaul's people and Shaul's people only prophesies for a short amount of time and only near Shmuel, and Shaul is going to go the whole night, and even when not near Shmuel. Okay, fine. Now we go on to the next one. So the point is, he got his prophecy, he got it for 24 hours, he took off, as it were, he was stripped of his mantle of the king, and he went back to being a student of the prophet for that moment. So like I said, he really gets what he wants for a short, limited time anyway. And why he couldn't figure out to stay there is also an interesting question.
Why would but he didn't lose the desire to kill David, even though he was moved.
At that point, he wasn't interested in David either.
Well, as soon as he put his clothes back on, he still wanted to kill him.
No, what I'm saying, but at that point, he's not interested in doing anything. Once he got, that's why he fell for the whole day and whole night.
It didn't last. It didn't change him.
Okay, the question would be why he didn't do that. I mean, the answer, by the way, first question would be, why didn't Shaul want to remain there as a student? Well, you can't because you're the king. You're the king. Bottom line is you're the king, and you have the mental of the king. And so there's that. Then the other thing is because he sinned against God, so God's not going to let him remain there either. It's very easy to remain in a cocoon. We want to. There's a theory called entropy, entropy, right? Entropy.
How do you mean it?
When you slow down, when you ultimately comes to an end.
The withering away, huh?
The withering away, I guess it's called, right? Where everything ultimately withers away, right? It slows down, it goes. And that's what we like to do. We are all entropic. We don't like to keep going. We don't want to keep growing. We want to stay in our little cocoons. If I'm using the word right, that's that. And if I'm not, then I apologize. But that's what it is. And for us to actually bounce out of that and to want to keep growing and growing, it goes against nature. It goes against human nature anyway. We want, like I said, we want to just relax. There are those who never can relax and they constantly have to grow and they're doing it. They are unique. They are our leaders. They are the rabbis. They are the great people of the world. They are the Einsteins. Okay,
The
who
average
never
person
stop.
has to fight against that instinct.
Right. Our instinct is to just relax and take it easy and
like rest on your laurels. That's what we use to express it when somebody does it. Yasher koach, right? You should continue to gain strength and go on.
that's what we do.
That's
So
the difference between a regular person and an entrepreneur.
Correct.
They never quit
Yeah.
correct.
working.
Yeah.
Correct, and that's why you're right. That's the main difference between us. And so we become comfortable in our situation, and we cease to look around. Okay, so you would have thought that that Shaul would have been happy here. He got what he wanted. Again, I'm back with God. I have that Ruach Hashem. It's great. Okay, and then what happens is, never. You have to go back to real life. We all love vacation, but then we have to come back to real life, right? And so you have to deal with real life. And sometimes you hate going on vacation because when you come back to real life, there's so much more you have to catch up on that's just counterproductive. So it's, but nonetheless, we all like that moment of where we can relax. So I'm sure that Shaul liked it, but because he sinned, Hashem wouldn't let him carry that feeling further. So he loses it again. Once I lose it, now I can go back to my regular, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I have to get rid of you because, I want that feeling. And the way to get that feeling?
Which feeling?
That feeling of Ruach Hashem. And the way I can get it is to get rid of you. If I get rid of you, the odds are maybe God won't have another replacement. He'll keep me. It's real feelings. I mean, we can push it away, but it's real feelings. Again, if I can get rid of my competition, why did a secretary always have her, in the old days, why did they always have a messy desk? So that the boss couldn't fire her. Right? Because she knows where everything is. Look, we had in this place, we had many people on staff at one point, and now it's me. So as a result, I had to figure out where everybody put everything. And doing that takes more time out of my day than preparing for class sometimes. Because I have to look. I was looking for decorations for the porn party. Looking for decorations. Okay, somebody told me it was here. Somebody told me it was there. What they didn't tell me was the one place I didn't look. So I didn't think it would be there. Why would I look there? I opened the door to the office, and lo and behold, I find a whole bunch of, after everything's put up, here's where they are. Tremendous. Too late. But if there would have been a logical place, it would have been different. But we don't know who thinks like that, right? Because everybody is job security. When you're filing things, you don't file logically. You file the way you think.
Yeah.
Right? Fire. Where do you put fire? Under M&M. Because that's the name of the company. Well, I have to know the name of the company. If I don't know the name of the company, I'm out of luck,
Yeah.
Right? So we had a fire alarm going off here. And so I had to figure out where everything is. Where's the code? There is no code. Oh, great. The code is wrong. Even better. But I'm saying that's why, we think we can push it off. Like I said, it comes that time. I have to go back to what I'm doing. Once I'm back to where I was, I remember everything that's going on, and now I have to try to get rid of you. Because you, David, are the one who's going to take my kingdom away. And take that good feeling I potentially could get, and I proved it again. I could get it back. I went to Shmuel, but I can't come to Shmuel if you're there. Although Shmuel's going to remind me, I'm also not the guy anymore. So I don't know which is going to work. Why he doesn't go against Shmuel, I never understood. Really, he should go against Shmuel. Get rid of Shmuel too. If this would have been a Shakespearean story, he would have got rid of Shmuel too. Okay.
In 21, we're talking.
21 what?
We're already talking back about talking about Jonathan again. When was the last time Jonathan was mentioned?
Oh, what are you talking about?
In chapter 20, verse 1.
Oh, so I didn't get there yet.
I know we didn't get there, but we started right in that very second sentence in the first.
Okay.
It starts. Where's Jonathan during all this time?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
While everybody was being prophesying.
Well, he was probably back at the castle.
He lived in a castle.
Oh, whatever. He was probably at the king's house, tending the sheep. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. So, Vayivrach David, chapter 20. Vayivrach David.
There's something very interesting here, and I always bringing this up because I'm fascinated that some of these things from Latin and from Greek were back in Hebrew. And this is one of these ironic things when you have a question. When a positive is a negative and a negative is a positive. And if I translate this, is Saul also among the prophets? You're expecting a positive or a negative answer. You have no idea. You're not making a judgment. But if you put this hey with the gam, it makes it negative to show certainty. Isn't it true?
Yeah, a lawyer will ask a question like that. Isn't it true?
It's a lead. These are leading because the minute you make that negative, you're affirming that you can come to no other conclusion.
In France, in French, they have a way of doing this.
They have a ne.
Well, there's also, oui means yes, but si, though Spanish, also has a French meaning, and that is a positive answer to a negative question. You're not going.
Yes, on the contrary.
Yeah. Well, something. Yeah, they say si as
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Si c'est vrai.
It's a very subtle thing.
It's true.
Right.
But it's all back here in Hebrew. The whole dynamic of how language works is already established here.
Okay, and we'll have to stop here on that note. Okay, it's already late.
It's like, what's the funny song? Yes, we have no bananas. I just think